Hey guys, welcome back to the Science of Every Bite. Okay, so a quick one. Have you ever bought a pack of potato chips? You take one, then another, and before you know it, you just consumed 1 kg worth of potato chips under 5 minutes. And guess what? You are still hungry. Well, that's the purpose of the product you just bought. They were designed and engineered for that purpose. And you're not alone. And neither are you abnormal. So today's episode, we are looking at foods today. And we cannot talk about foods today without talking about a food product that occupies between 50 to 70% of the food market. And that's ultra-processed foods. So welcome to the Science of Every Bite. Okay, we're in a fast-paced world and everything is moving at supersonic speed. Our internet is quick, our deliveries are quick, everything is fast. And our foods tragically has towed that same line. So now we have fast foods. And I just want to buttress a point that processing in itself is not a bad thing. In fact, foods ought to be processed. Most, if not all, of our food products are processed, from washing, drying, soaking, sprouting, fermenting, cooking, boiling. All these are forms of processing. And processing is actually a good thing in the sense that with processing, we reduce the microbial load of the food. In processing, we also improve the nutrient integrity and nutrient bioavailability of the food. In processing, also, we preserve the food. And in processing, we make the food more palatable. So processing on its own is not a bad thing. So how does processing differ from ultra-processed? When we say ultra-processed foods, how does processing differ from it? The word ultra meaning extreme processing. So by the time you finish processing that food, it doesn't look anything like the original parent food where it came from. Okay, so let's break it down, shall we? But let's differentiate between unprocessed or minimally processed. They are in the same category, processed, then ultra processed. Let's use any food item. Let's say corn. For instance, corn, freshly harvested corn in a corn knob, it's unprocessed. So we want to make it more edible, we boil it, we roast it, depending on how you enjoy it. That's unprocessed, minimally processed corn, boiled corn, roasted corn. Then we go down to processed corn. Here we have things like, if you're within the Nigerian or African environment, you have your pap. That's a corn pap is processed. Then we also have canned corn. That's also processed. Then we now go down to ultra processed. Then we have your things like cornflakes, all those kind of packaged cereal boxes. Those are ultra processed. So I would like your contribution. So in the comment section, you just give me a food ingredient of your choice. You tell me it in its unprocessed or minimally processed form. You tell me it in its processed form and the ultra processed form. I look forward to hearing from you. So as a consumer, how do I recognize? Ultra processed foods have been linked to most forms of diseases, from diabetes, obesity, gut problems, heart problems, even mood issues have been linked to ultra processed foods. So as a consumer, how then do I identify ultra processed foods? Well, first of all, as a consumer, you've got to read your food labels. It's imperative, it's important we go through our food labels. If you see a food label and you go to the ingredient list, and the ingredient list is as long as your term paper, with all forms of flavorings and preservatives and additives and colorings, that food is ultra processed. It's not good for you. And also as well, if you check your food ingredients and any food product that you cannot replicate to an extent in your kitchen is ultra processed. It has been engineered. Any food product that doesn't look anything like the parent product is also ultra processed. So let's get down to the science, shall we? Let's get down to the science of ultra-processed foods. If they are linked to obesity, heart diseases, diabetes, hypertension, how then do they do this? First of all, let's go start with the brain. Ultra-processed foods act as a particular region in the brain called the reward center. Now, ultra-processed foods are known to activate that reward center. And when that reward center in the brain is activated, guess what? There's an increase in dopamine level. Now, dopamine is that hormone that is responsible for so many addictions. Now, do you know other substances that activate that reward center in the brain? You guessed right. Alcohol and nicotine. The only difference between ultra-processed foods and alcohol and nicotine is that in alcohol and nicotine, there is this surge or spike when they are of dopamine when they are consumed. But after a while, depending on the individual, the dopamine levels go down even below baseline levels of dopamine. But ultra-processed foods, the dopamine level, even it doesn't have that spike, it increases gradually, but before it returns to baseline, it stays longer in the body. The dopamine levels are still longer than alcohol or nicotine. Another science behind ultra-processed foods is two hormones, leptin and ghrelin. I will explain them. Leptin is this what we call the satiety hormone. They're the ones responsible for telling you, all right, girl, you've had enough. You're full, don't eat anymore. Then you have the ghrelin. Ghrelin is that one that makes you rumble, tummy rumble, telling you you've got to eat something right now, you are hungry. But ultra-processed food makes the leptin levels go down and the ghrelin levels go up. So at every time, you're almost always hungry. You always want to eat something. Another danger with ultra-processed food is the fact that they are so refined that they are deficient in fiber content. So we know that fiber is one of the primary ingredient or substances that our gut microbiome feeds on. Our gut microbiome are very important for immunity. They are very important for health and wellness. They are very important for even longevity. So that fiber content is what they feed on. So when they feed on fiber content, they break it down to short-chain fatty acids. Short-chain fatty acids are responsible for that protective mucus layer in the gut, which is very important. So when there's no fiber content, you have a decline in good bacteria and an increase in the bad bacteria. You have a decline in immunity because 70 to 80% of our immunity comes from our gut. So when there's no fiber for our gut microbiome to feed on, we have decline in immune response, decline in nutrient synthesis. So ultra-processed foods, when it comes to the gut, they are not good for us. Another thing with ultra-processed foods is that because they are so refined, they increase the blood sugar level. Most blood sugar spikes have been linked to ultra-processed foods. So we have high glucose in the blood. We have high glucose in the blood, and we have persistent high levels of insulin in the body as well. That is almost like a chain reaction. So we have a cascade. With high levels of insulin, after a while we have insulin resistance. And after a while you have diabetes. So you see the science behind ultra-processed foods and how they have been linked to so many diseases, so many chronic diseases. So what then do I feed on? What then do I eat? We can go back to our food chain. Start first with foods that are grown. If I can take a pack of noodles and grow them in my farm and I will yield a tray of noodles, then that's not what I should be eating. Okay guys, that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining me and staying till the end. Next week we'll be looking at what does the future hold for foods? What kinds of foods are we going to be eating? And interestingly, the American Dietary Guidelines just flipped our food pyramid. So we're going to be discussing that and more next week. If you enjoyed my content, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.